So I'm going to show you on this model here. This is a Ford Edge. Depending upon what vehicle you have, you're going to want to make sure that you check to see whether or not you have a spare. Wherever your spare tire is, your vehicle should be equipped with a scissor jack like this one. And it should also come with the tool that tightens and loosens the lug nuts, as well as fits onto the jack to raise and lower the jack. Now those are usually located with your temporary spare in the back of your vehicle right here. So the temporary spare was here, along with the jack in this little envelope, and this piece was in here and the jack was in here. It was here, and this temporary spare was here, covered by this. So when you raise this up, your spare tire is going to be located somewhere in the trunk of your vehicle, similar to this. And your spare tire, you need to make sure that it's there, that it's inflated, and that you have your scissor jack and your lug nut tool to be able to remove and tighten the lug nuts. So in this particular case, if you come a little closer with the camera, you'll see right here where it indicates where you can place the jack. Maybe on your vehicle it also has this sticker, so you're going to want to look at that, and it'll show you where you can place the jack safely to raise your car. You're going to want to make sure that you get the jack on the frame. The weight of the vehicle can be lifted by the frame. Don't put it where it's going to break plastic or anything like that. It should be touching metal. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and insert this. On this vehicle, there's a little arrow right here. You can see where the jack goes. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the jack. I can put this on here. We'll deal with this. Turn this, and the jack starts to rise up. So once we get it high enough, then I'll place it where it needs to be placed. I'm gonna lay down so I can see what I'm doing. If you bring the camera down right under here, a little bit lower, you can see that there's a lip right here, and that lip goes in this slot on this jack. So as I raise the jack, you're gonna see that take place. It's right by the arrow there that indicates where the jack goes. So as I raise the jack, I want to make sure that I get that lip right into that slot. There we go. So now we're properly seated. Now all you have to do is just continue to rotate the jack. As this happens, the vehicle's going to raise up. You also want to make sure that you've set your parking brake prior to beginning this process, which I've already done. That will keep your vehicle stable while you're raising it up. You also want to make sure that you have the jack straight up and down and on a solid surface. If you happen to have to change a tire in dirt, you're going to want to probably keep a piece of wood, like piece of plywood, in your vehicle along with your spare tire and your stuff that you change the tire with, so that you have something to place the jack on that will hold the jack up in case it's a tire change in the dirt. So we're not all the way up yet. I'm going to stop right here and check my clearance. Not quite all the way up. So now that we've got a good seat and we're not all the way up, if this tire were flat, I would want to go ahead and loosen the lug nuts while it's touching the ground, because if we get it up off the ground and try to loosen the lug nuts, it may not come loose easily. So when you remove lug nuts, you want to go counterclockwise to get them off. Okay, so we're going to start with this lug nut first here, and we'll pull up. and go counterclockwise, and that has loosened it. Then I'm gonna not go to this one, I'm gonna skip to the second one away from it and loosen that one. Then I'm gonna skip this one and loosen this one. You're gonna wanna do the skipping process when you're tightening as well, because it helps to make the vehicle safer when you're tightening the lug nuts, because they're being tightened away from each other, crisscrossing, so that you get even tightening or even loosening. Now all of the lug nuts are loose, so we can just basically continue to raise the jack. And we're going to continue to do that until we can safely remove the tire from the vehicle.
Come here. Come here. See, Billy? What are you doing?
We can see that it's almost loose enough to remove, but we want to make sure that we get it high enough so that when we go to put our spare on, it's going to fit properly. A few more turns, we should be there. Okay, let's see. Yep, I think so. So now all we have to do is spin these off. Turning counterclockwise, they come off. Once you have them all off, then you just carefully slide the tire off of the lug studs. But these are called lug studs, and then you'll see when we go to put the spare on, we want to make sure that we line the holes with these studs so that we can place it on properly. So here goes removal. Just basically, once you get it off there, you can roll it to the side. That's our flat tire. Then this is the temporary spare that's provided with the vehicle. It says for temporary use only. So you want to get your regular tire repaired as soon as possible, because you really don't want to be on a temporary spare too long. Just long enough to get you home safely and
Or to a tire shop.
Or to a tire shop. So right now we've got it on there properly, so I'm going to start with this bottom lug, putting it on first, turning clockwise to tighten. So that's the first one, and I'm going to skip and put one there after skipping. Kind of shake the tire a little bit, that helps it to seat properly. I would take, prior to doing anything else, kind of turn these a little bit till they're hand tight. And as you're doing that, you want to make sure that there's no movement on the tire. It's got to be solid, and that means that the lug nuts are properly seated. They have a little angle right here on them, and that angle seats inside here. And if it's not properly seated inside there, then it won't fit properly. So as we put this one on, we'll go ahead and spin it into place, and it goes nice and tight. We'll do the others as well. Getting them hand tightened. Once all 5 or 6 or 4, depending upon what type of vehicle you have, are on, then you'll make sure you kind of grab it and shake the vehicle just a little bit, not too much, but as you're trying to tighten them so you can feel them snug. But then if you see your tires still moving, what you'll need to do is lower the jack down just enough to where the tire stops spinning. So I'm gonna do that right now. Once it stops spinning, then I know the ground is gonna help me to be able to properly tighten the lug nuts. So there it is, it's touching. I don't want to really go too much farther than that until I've seated it. So what I mean by that is I'm gonna start tightening them with this. I tighten the first one and give it just...
You're going clockwise?
Going clockwise, yes. I've given it just a snug, I'm not putting a lot of pressure. Then I'm gonna skip and give a little bit of snug on this one. See how it moved? When it does that, all you need to do is just do a couple more turns on the jack over here to lower it down a little bit more. 2 turns there. We'll get back on the one we were tightening. Snug, skip, snug, skip, 1, snug, skip, snug, and then skip and snug. And so now we snug them all up, so we know we've got the tire properly seated and that each lug nut is in the proper position for final tightening. Now for final tightening, we want to lower the vehicle down just a little bit more to place more weight on the vehicle. And the reason we wait to do that initially is because we don't want to lower the vehicle weight onto a loose rim, because then the lug nuts won't be properly seated, and when you go to tighten it, you may think it's tight, but it might not be. So after we've seated it safely and we know that it's ready for final tightening, then we lower more weight onto it. A few turns of the jack, so that when we do the final tightening of the lug nuts, we know that we've got enough weight on here to sustain the pressure of tightening. Now when you tighten, you want to make sure that they're snug, but you don't want to tighten it so tight that you're trying to break them off either, because they're really difficult to get off if you over tighten them. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to start with this first one, give it a pretty good snug, skip, come to this one, another pretty good snug there, skip it, another pretty good snug there. I'll go to this one, pretty good snug there, go to this one, and that's pretty good. Now that would be tight enough to get you to a shop and get you home safely. But if you feel like you're not sure and you want to make sure, then I would just put it on a second time. Stand up, take both your hands and place it towards the end of your tightening tool, and put a little bit of weight and an extra couple of pushes. Skip. If you feel comfortable having it at this angle to be able to push, or it may be better for you to put it at this angle and push like that. So whatever feels comfortable, just as long as you push this all the way down and give a good little snug, final snug on each one. So that's plenty tight. So all that's left to do now is to lower the jack, which we're going to do here. Once you get it lowered and it comes off, then you just basically put everything in your vehicle and you're ready to go. So you've done a tire change.